Hello guys, welcome to this new session for SQL query writing. I will solve one problem from the website Leetcode. So let's jump into the problem first. Here, this is an activity table. It has some columns, and the types are mentioned here. The column names are machine ID, process ID, activity type, and timestamp. So you can see the type here, int, enum, and float for the timestamp. Okay, now let's read through this one. The table shows the user activities for a factory website. Machine ID, process ID, activity type is the primary key. So combination of columns with unique values of this table. Okay, machine ID is the ID of a machine. Process ID is the ID of a process running on the machine with ID machine ID. Okay, activity type is enum, category of type start and end activity. There are like two type of activities: machine start time and machine end time. Timestamp is a float representing the current time in seconds. Start means the machine starts the process at the given timestamp, and end means the machine ends the process at the given timestamp. Okay, the start timestamp will always be before the end timestamp for every machine ID process ID pair. Okay, that makes sense. It is granted that each machine ID process ID pair has a start and end timestamp. Okay, now let's read the problem. There is a factory website that has several machines, each running the same number of processes. Write a solution to find the average time each machine takes to complete a process. Okay, as you can see in the table, I will explain it later. Let's read the problem first. The time to complete a process is end timestamp minus the start timestamp. Okay, the average time is calculated by the total time to complete every process on the machine divided by the number of processes that were run. Okay, the resulting table should have the machine ID along with the average time as processing time, which should be rounded to 3 decimal places. Okay, return the result table in any order as you like. The result format is the following example. Okay, so this is the activity table. As you can see, here are some machine IDs. So there are three kind of machine IDs: 0, 1, and 2, and each machine has process IDs. There are like two processes are happening here. One process, for example, this machine ID 0. The first process starts with 0 with process ID 0 here. As you can see, it has a start time, it has an end time. So this is one process. The same with the same machine ID, it has the another process ID is 1, start time, end time. So this is another process. So as you can see, for each machine ID there are like two processes happening, 0 with process ID 0 and 0 process ID 1. Okay, and this is the expected output. We have to select the machine ID and processing time for each of the machines. You can see there are like three machine IDs here, and it's categorized by the process IDs here. Okay, so what we have to do here. So initially we have to initially we have to define the start time and end time. We have to somehow minus this value, the end value, with the start value, and if we can do that, then we can find the process time for machine 0 and with process ID 0. Same case is here. If we minus deduct this end time with the start time for the process ID 1, we can get the process time for process ID 1 with the same machine ID 0. Okay, so initially let's find this one first. Like select, I'll select here machine ID, process ID here. Okay, and I can here define the start time and end time with a case statement. As you can see here, the activity is mentioned here, start time and end time for each of the process ID and for each of the machines. Okay, so for that we can write we can use the max and case function for these row level deductions. For example, I use max here, then case when activity type column is equal to, it mentions start, then I'll take the timestamp here. As you can see here, see, I will take this timestamp and I will do that end, and I will use this one. I'll mention an alias as start time. I'll name this start time. Okay, same thing I'll do for the end time. Let's copy this one. I'll use this one here as end, and as the end time. Okay. What is this? Case when, oh sorry, I wrote this one wrong. No, case when. Okay, so we got this one, and we'll take it from where? We'll take it from the activity table. Yeah, activity table, and we will group it by machine ID and process ID. That way we'll get the two processes for each machine ID here grouped in a like single, or like the rows it requires. So it will group by machine ID and process ID. Okay, let's run this one and see what happens. Run this one, and yeah, it shows wrong answer obviously because we are not finished with the query. But as you can see here, we have now the start time, the end time for each machine ID and each process ID. For example, here for the machine ID 1, there are two processes happening. As you can see, start time, end time. So we took that, we got the like start and end time. So we got the time difference here, the total process time for ending, or like for finishing one process for the process ID. So we are successful with the each ID, and for each process ID we got the result. Now we can use this one as a subquery, and we can now write our final table query, where we have to find the average time as processing time for each machine ID. Okay, for that, what we can do, we can like simply write an average of the like processing time here, the start time and end time difference in the processing time. So I'll write select, I'll take machine ID. Here the expected outcomes has two columns only, machine ID and the processing times. Okay, so I'll take machine ID, and I will use the average of end time, I already had that, minus start time in my subquery. Okay, so I'll take this, I'll name this as processing time. Here the column name is processing time, you see. So we name it the same way. And also we have to like we have to like round this one with three decimal places. So I will use the round function, and I will round this one with 3 decimal points. Yeah. Okay, so I will select this one from where? I will select this one from, I'll take this, I don't need this one anymore, from this subquery, and I can name it as like let's name it process duration. Okay, and I will group by I'll group it by machine. As you can see here, it's grouped. The result is grouped by machine ID here. So I'll use the machine ID. Machine ID. Okay. I hope it will work. Let's run this one. Yeah, the result is accepted here, and as you can see, these are the inputs, timestamp, and time start time for the whole table here, and we got the output here, only the machine IDs and the processing times for each machine, what it takes. So I hope you understand this problem, you understood this problem, and if there is any kind of problem or you have like any kind of questions, you can just write in the comments. Have a nice day.